Yeah, been a while.
A minute.
Been a long time. Should have left you.
It ain't been as bright in here. I think it's been.
Oh, I've been around a bunch of men, yo. It's so hard. Like, I thought I was a man.
Don't sue. Whatever you do, don't
Ice, that's Joe Budden. That's Parties. That's Imani. That's Ice. That's Flip.
Melyssa Ford and Joe Budden are trading wild shots, with extra shade flying from cast members like Mona. So let's break down every single piece of this drama. Right here, you see Melyssa Ford going live straight out of iHeart Studios, which is linked to longtime Joe Budden rival Charlamagne. Everyone knows Joe Budden and Charlamagne have no love lost, but the real root of their beef comes down to how they view content creation. Joe Budden doesn't feel iHeart properly rewards creators, while Charlamagne is all about teaming up with big business and expanding his influence. So is Melyssa Ford pulling that classic move where after a breakup, business or otherwise, you end up in the arms of the other side? That's exactly what it looks like she's doing. Remember when Mandy left the Joe Budden network? She pulled a similar move, painting Joe as someone who couldn't run the network while hopping on and promoting Charlamagne's Black Effect network. And that's not even the only intriguing exchange happening. Next up, there's a clip where Joe Budden explains why he isn't wearing shades.
Shades since
Yeah, been a while.
A minute.
Been a long time. Should have left you.
it ain't been as bright in here.
I think it's been, for me, honestly, 3 months.
That's about right.
Nah, about 4.
Now that was a nod to how back when Joe Budden was on the show with Melyssa Ford toward the end, he always had to rock shades to hide what he was really thinking because of Melyssa Ford's antics. You know, always complaining, always creating awkward moments on the set. And now, with Mona in the mix, he don't feel the need to cover up with shades anymore. I guess it's a new era where transparency is allowed. But we'll see if that vibe sticks with Mona around. Speaking of Mona, there are a couple moments that really involve her. Number one is this back and forth where Joe Budden is talking to Mona and she says something like, "Oh, it's hard to work with guys." And then check out what Joe Budden responds with.
Oh, I've been around a bunch of men, yo. It's so hard. Like, I thought I was a man.
Don't sue. Whatever you do, don't sue. We don't care how you feel.
All
right.
Now he would say, "Don't sue." Could that be a subtle nod to Melyssa Ford? Right. Melyssa Ford apparently stepped away from the Joe Budden podcast, claiming her mental health wasn't in the best place. Allegedly. That's the rumor mill anyway. Could that have opened the door to a potential lawsuit if Joe Budden hadn't offered some kind of NDA deal where she'd get paid for staying quiet? I mean, Joe literally said on the podcast, "If y'all want to leave flipping Melyssa Ford, I'm okay with y'all signing an NDA. I'll pay y'all for it." And we also have to remember that Joe Budden has hinted at another lawsuit on the Joe Budden network where a confused co-host supposedly took legal action over something that happened on air. Now let's check out Mona's comments. She's already echoing some of the same phrases Melyssa Ford used about how hard it is to work with men. Remember when Melyssa first arrived? She'd say, "I'm a girl's girl. I'm a guy's girl," like she wanted to fit in with everyone. But after some time, she shifted to, "Ah, man, there's so much testosterone here. It's different from Hollywood on Lock." For Melyssa Ford to have set a blueprint for how Mona might react, and Mona is already showing signs, that's worth watching. A few episodes in, Mona is already showing cracks. That could hint that she's not fully vibing with the culture at the Joe Budden network. At least this time, Joe Budden is making moves like separating her from Flip, which might have helped Melyssa stick around longer if he'd done the same. Then there's the artwork. For a while, during the Joe Budden podcast, there were a series of stylized cast pictures, and Melyssa Ford's image stayed up for quite some time, even after she left. Fans thought she might be coming back. But Mona jumped on Instagram, posting videos showing everyone and all the pictures, making it clear who's actually there.
Ice, that's Joe Budden. That's Parties. That's Imani. That's Ice. That's Flip. And who the is that with the beautiful tongue? Demona. That's right.
And she made sure to highlight that Melyssa Ford is no longer featured and that her artwork has been removed. Now, this could be a series of moves that are completely intentional, or maybe these people just aren't self-aware and are rolling with it because, it's whatever, it's vibes. But I don't buy that. I think Melyssa Ford's whole maneuver with iHeartMedia is very strategic, and we need to watch if she eventually lands on the Black Effect or iHeart. They definitely have the numbers to make it make sense for her to be on the Black Effect network. If you think about how low something like Selective Ignorance by Mandy is, for that to be under a network and Melyssa Ford not included, it says a lot. Pretty soon, I think we'll see Melyssa Ford either on iHeart or Black Effect. Otherwise, she's doing all of this just to get at Joe, which is risky. And this shows the dangers of leaving the Joe Budden network, or any big show. It doesn't always just affect Joe Budden. Sometimes your operation looks really bad afterward. Look at Melyssa Ford. I posted a picture of her on Twitter, and a lot of people roasted her appearance. I still think she's very attractive. I know the comments say she's ugly. Danny, show me your girl and we can have a girl-for-girl comparison with Melyssa Ford's picture. But the lighting is off. It's obvious this setup is strictly for audio. This isn't a studio retrofitted to mimic something like Horrible Decisions or The Need to Know, where the podcast feels like a TV show. She doesn't even have the budget. She clearly didn't dress the way she normally would for the Joe Budden podcast, something she struggled with before. People made fun of it, saying she didn't look good. But for women, appearances are a lot trickier to navigate. Even so, you can see her trying to keep the process going. One thing I noticed is that I hardly hear about Melyssa Ford these days. That just shows the visibility boost you get from broadcasting on the Joe Budden network. And it's not just the network, it's the die-hard fan base, the Twitter Spaces crowd, the Reddit communities with hundreds of thousands of engagements. Once you leave that ecosystem, for better or worse, you fade from memory. You're only remembered in relation to the Joe Budden show, and your content doesn't get the same push. Let me know what you think about all of these strange interactions. They're still in some kind of Cold War, and I'm here reporting it because this is the war in Padro. Everyone is throwing shots. We'll have to see if the people who made their bed in 2025 are comfortable in it in 2026. Will they sleep in that bed? Will it feel right? Will Melyssa Ford have preserved her mental health at the cost of attention? Because sometimes lack of attention can hurt your mental state. I don't know if Melyssa Ford is ready to be irrelevant again. Many of the folks who claim to support Melyssa and hate Joe Budden only followed her because she was on the Joe Budden network. And a lot of you in my comments section, I never see you talking about how good Hot and Bothered is. You just complain about Joe Budden. You don't even engage with her podcast or content. The only time you comment is to dunk on Joe Budden culture. Go support her, stop complaining about coverage or saying we're hating on Melyssa Ford because she can't exist independently. People care about this because these players still care about each other. They're still firing shots. There's a reason Melyssa Ford is trying to show that picture of her behind the iHeart mic. She wants to prove she's still lit. But maybe it backfired because right now it doesn't really read that way.